5 a.m. Uvalde, Texas, CBA competition. We're back at it again. Seasoning up a nice brisket. Got the Gateway drum lit. That's what I cook my brisket on every single time. That base, Southern Belle, and Southern Hospitality. Same thing as always. Right at 5:30 a.m. we are going to put our brisket on. We want plenty of time for this thing to cook in. It's a little bit bigger than normal. You can see it's just a little bit longer than I typically get whenever I'm trimming, but no big deal. It's going to be just fine. It's 7 a.m. and we got our ribs on. We're gonna go ahead and put our pork on. Not the monies just yet, just the full butt. All right, it's 7:30, so what I did was I rotated my drum. The pork butt started over here, that was kind of over the fire. Now it's over the water pan, and we're gonna put our money mussels on the opposite side. We're gonna continuously spin this grate every 30 minutes just to go ahead and make sure that I get a little bit of fire here, and then I get it over the water just to kind of make sure everything cooks nice and evenly, and of course get a little bit of flavor on these. And at 7:30 we're also going to spin the grate on our pork ribs. Again, we're doing the same exact thing. Half of this has a water pan, the other half is over the fire, so we just kind of make sure that we're cooking evenly throughout this whole cook. And since we're on the topic of checking on our meats, this is our burnt ends, and obviously this is our flat. It's been on for right at what, an hour and a half, something like that? Yeah, an hour and a half, so everything's looking real good. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this pretty soon because I'm liking the color, but I'm gonna let it go just a little bit more. So I wrap this to color every single time. You can see on the edges just about every single time. You're also gonna get a little bit of char on the outside. That's completely okay with me. Obviously, we're gonna focus on the middle for our burnt ends, and of course this flat is looking good so far, so let's let it keep smoking. It's 8:30 a.m. and it's time to wrap our ribs. This is one of our racks, looking really good. I like the way the color is looking, so at that point, that's exactly when I want to wrap. At this point of the cook, I'm not worried about anything but the color. So when it gets to the color that I want, I'm wrapping it up, and we're gonna do this the same exact way you guys have seen me do. Well, I don't know how many times now, but we're gonna put down some butter, we're gonna put some sugar in the raw, and then we're gonna put some barbecue sauce. So we got butter. This is Blues Hog Original. That has to go right over the butter. Don't ask me why. Sugar in the raw. Don't know how much. I just eyeball it. Ribs on top, meat side up. Sugar in the raw on top. Blues Hog Original on top. Back in. Check these in a little bit. Right at 8:45, the brisket looks really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it into our pan here. It's a little bit big for our pan, but that's all right. We have our liquid. That's gonna go inside of the brisket wrap. Maybe just a little bit more. Yeah, that looks good. Then what I'm gonna do before I actually wrap this thing up is I'm gonna get a probe and I'm gonna go right into this brisket. I like to cut a little slit where my probe is coming out, and then it allows me to wrap it up nice and good. And just for everybody curious at home, after 3 hours I'm at 163 internal, and that's completely fine with me. I don't worry about this number at all until the end. This is just a guideline for me. But I'm just looking at the color on this and making sure I like it before I wrap. It's 9 o'clock, time to wrap our pork. So, well, it's time to wrap our money mussels, I'm lying. So Our pork is not quite there yet. That's completely fine. So we got our butter. Blues hog over the butter first, over top. And we got half of our liquids going into the monies. And the same thing here. I'm just gonna put a probe into, the way I actually manipulated them in the pan was I put my smallest money muscle closest here, because I just want to make sure that I'm not overcooking the smallest one. These two are a little bit bigger, so I want to check this one first. So I'm going to probe this one. I'm going to try and get it right in the middle of that muscle. Then we're just going to go ahead and do the same exact thing that we did earlier. Snip, snip, and we're ready to go. And again, just for everybody checking at home, I'm at 167 on the smallest money muscle. We're going to get it to 200 and then start checking for tenderness. Right back onto the drum, and we're just going to be monitoring those temps. Processing pork right now, and this week we actually brought our knife, so it's a lot easier than normal. Take a little piece out the end, see if that tastes okay.